Why did you decide to release it?
Because the public had a right to know. It'd been 3 weeks, nothing had been done, and I felt like the public needed to know, and I feel like Chad deserves justice.
You're in the car, you hear these shots go off. What is going through your head that very moment?
Okay. So I'm recording this just because I'm supposed to record anything verbal between them because of the past situations. And Christina and Chad are having a conversation 6 feet apart, and I don't think anything, there's no yelling. He's not physically going after her. I mean, he was just like, where's my son? And I see Kyle come out with this gun. And what a lot of people don't understand in the video is that, one, I'm zoomed in on the video. And I'm not watching it through my phone. I'm watching it, but I'm zoomed in through the video. And he comes out and fires a warning shot at Chad's feet. And a lot of people don't realize that in the video, that he fires at Chad. And so that's when Chad steps up in a defensive mode against Kyle. It wasn't until he was fired at that he became defensive with Kyle. He just was ignoring Kyle because it didn't have anything to do with Kyle. It was him just trying to find out where his son was. And if Christina had just been the mother she needed to be, she should have just said, he's at my mother's, go pick him up. And all of this would have been avoided. All of it. None of this had to happen. We weren't there for an altercation. We weren't there to try to break in the house. We weren't there. There was no reason that Kyle has a self-defense anything, because it was a discussion between Chad and Christina about where their son was. And all Christina had to do was say, my son is at my mom's. And we would have gone there and picked him up, and it would have been over with. Honestly, I thought it was like a stun gun or a taser gun or something. Like, who's going to bring out, they're having a discussion about a custody thing. There's no physical altercations. Who's going to bring a gun out? Why? If he's in fear for his life, why didn't he go in and lock the door and call the police? I mean, he's not in fear for his life. You can see it in his face. He wanted to do this. And let me just tell you, we've all known each other. Chad and they've known each other a long time. This wasn't a stranger. There was not that danger. Chad was not postured until he was doing nothing until Kyle shot at him. And Chad and I've been married 2 months when this happened. He was the love of my life. And every morning I wake up without him, and every night I go to bed without him. And it didn't have to happen. It did not have to happen. I'm sorry. I miss him terribly.
I'm so sorry for your loss. Was this a justified deadly use of force shooting?
It was not. Short answer, no, it was not. You have very limited circumstances in Texas where you can justify deadly use of force. This was not one of those.
You have the attorney for the shooter who says, in Texas, you have the right to protect your property and defend yourself if you feel threatened. And he says that Kyle felt threatened. So what do you say to that?
Well, during this circumstance, Chad was there to pick up his son. That's all he wanted. That's what you heard him asking multiple times. Where is my son? And in using the self-defense, you cannot be in the commission of a crime. And if Mr. Caruth was aiding and abetting someone who is interfering with child custody, That is a state jail felony in Texas. If you're interfering with child custody, that's a felony charge. And number two, you cannot use you cannot claim self-defense if you are the one who provoked. And Mr. Caruth was the one that provoked this by bringing out a firearm to a conversation that he wasn't a party to. In fact, if you see from the video, whenever Chad is talking to Christina, Mr. Caruth attempts to interject, and Chad tells him, shut his mouth, in different words. And that was the point whenever Mr. Caruth went inside. But it wasn't until Chad threatened, or more or less promised, that he was about to bring all of the dirty laundry out into the public eye. That was the moment that Mr. Caruth walked out of the house with a firearm and escalated and provoked the situation.
You are now petitioning to get Chad's kids.
Absolutely. Those boys do not deserve to be raised by their father's killer. And she has them around him all the time. I've had not personal contact, but through family with the older one, and he wants out of there immediately. The younger one I haven't had contact with, but they are being subjected to Kyle. And on top of it all, Kyle went into his house, and within 40 seconds from going into his house and coming back out, he's brandishing a huge weapon, and those kids have been there.
And the kids are aware, from our understanding, the kids are aware that that Kyle Caruth is the one that took their father away. They're aware of that. And so whenever they are around Kyle, they know that they're around the person who killed their father.
And I know this is a fight lots of parents have, and it makes me sad. I'm divorced with children, and I would never, ever use my children as pawns to try to control my ex. And that's what she did, and it resulted in Chad's death.
Fathers shouldn't have to die in order to get to see their children.
You can just tell us, why was he the love of your life?
You know, it's kind of funny because we've known each other for 20 years and actually hated each other 20 years ago. But once I got to know him, that man loved his kids like no man I have ever seen in my entire life. He FaceTimed them every morning before school, every night before bed. He would do anything for time with his kids. And as I saw him with his children, it just made me fall more and more in love with him. And he was a protector. He was a fighter. He would fight to the death for any one of his friends. And he loved me like nobody has ever loved me. He protected me. He was amazing. And I'm absolutely heartbroken that my future now doesn't include him. And
I can tell you, I was at their wedding, and the two people that I saw in love at that wedding was something that most couples strive for. And they were like two kids in love. And it's tragic that he was taken from her so early, and that they only had 2 months of marital bliss before he was taken from this world.
We had a love that most people never experience. And I probably will never experience again. And I'm heartbroken. And I'm trying not to hate. And I'm trying to do what he would be proud. And those kids were his life. And I'll do whatever I can for those kids.